Hello. So I'm back. We're gonna do a little bit of tarot, a little bit of a channel. We're gonna see where it goes, cause it's been so long. Bunny's tarot, yay! Okay, so basically what I do see is um, even through kind of like some difficulties, you've been able to manage to like pull yourself out of it and get where you need to be, how you need to be, right? But there is still kind of like almost like this idea of when am I going to be able to actually rest? When am I going to be able to actually, um, one, I heard not look back, but just let go even a little bit. And spirit does, like, in general, want you to let go more. But they also don't want you to be too worked up over like a stalemate. And, that could really like be anything, you know what I mean? Work troubles, fucking school troubles, anything literally. They want you to not get worked up about that. Obviously every situation is different, and specifically if you need help with recovery, we will one get some messages on that specifically. But also spirit is gonna like puppet master, and do their thing like they always do. Because right now it is kind of like this energy of like leading into a cycle, but also as we're going into it, we're coming right out of it at the same time. Um, kind of like throwing you for a loop, but they don't want you to be thrown for a loop on it. Um, it's all just a bunch of noise. Try your hardest to disconnect from it and dictate where you lie within that noise so that you can figure out how to take care of yourself in a better way. And actually be supportive of yourself regardless of the things that you did or did not connect to in the past, or the things you did or did not create, right? So one thing I did hear is like, don't isolate yourself. It's going to be really easy to want to isolate yourself in like all the ways you could possibly. But they really want you to kind of disconnect from things outside of yourself and reconnect um to the little things, the beauty in it and everything. That way, regardless of the troubles that do come, you can kind of look down like at a bird's eye view and work from above instead of below. If that makes sense, right? Um, there is like, I don't want to say it like that because that kind of sounds icky too, right? But there are like a lot of tests of endurance, and then I heard hindrance. So testing your endurance in general. But they specifically said, like, don't make your reactions a bad thing. Don't judge yourself for your reactions. Um don't pin you against you, basically. Don't see yourself as a hindrance. Like anything that you feel, and this is specifically something I've been going through, regardless of if it's a pretty feeling, regardless of if I'm like fully snapping, right? I still need to take the time and like feel my feelings. Even if it's like ugly as fuck, like you still need to take the time to feel those feelings. Even if you don't want to, even if they make you look bad, even like it just doesn't matter. You need to accept those parts of yourself and like let them be. That way you can kind of navigate them in an easier way than you would have before, or even be able to pick yourself back up in a way that you wouldn't have been able to before. Because, and like, no judgment, babe, I'm here with you on that. Sometimes our asses will just be like, oh, that's hard, I'm sitting down. I'm not dealing with that. I'm gonna sit my ass down right now, and no one's gonna fuck with me on anything. And I get that. I get that so hard. It's so easy to want to like just kind of dip the fuck out and like go into your little corner because that's the way we know how to protect ourselves. That's literally how the human brain works, and that's why there's kind of like it's kind of why all of this is happening, so we can kind of disconnect from the shame of everything, because there really is no shame in any of it. Right. Yeah, so we can come out of like the confusion of our own minds of like just how hard being a human being is in the first place, how hard it is living in the type of world that we live in, knowing that like we're literally just animals that like evolved enough to be able to function and understand, which took thousands of years. And don't get me started. Please get me started, bitch. Please. But they specifically are saying they have, okay, have fun with it. Their like spirit puppet master, whatever, is calculating all of this. You don't really need to worry. Obviously feel your worries, feel your pains and your frustrations, but they do also want you to have fun with it and like just be a silly goose with it, you know? Don't be afraid to give to those feelings, but don't sit in them and become stagnant in them and almost find joy in your own pain. Because we don't want to do that either, right? And yeah, you really have to remember that this is for your own stability, so that you can like broaden your horizons and everything and pour into yourself in a different way, and you can pour into other people in a different way, right? Regardless of if it seems like you're giving to negative emotions, I am always, obviously don't give to them if they're detrimental to yourself and others, obviously. But if it's like I feel like shit, but and you need to feel it, babe, cry and feel all your big feelings, it's fine. As long as you're creating a safe space for yourself to do so, and others, obviously. 9:35 on the time, and then it's March the 2nd, so 555 333222. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get some oracle cards because I did not prepare for this at all. For real. Okay. Another thing I do want to say is don't like judge yourself for being in the state that you're in. No matter like, and I said it earlier, but I'm gonna say it again. Do not judge yourself for the state that you're in. Like, we all are multifaceted beings. We all have like different aspects to ourselves. People are gonna see us from different perspectives, and that is okay. Another thing is like embrace your duality as much as you can. Within your means, if that makes sense, and what it means to you. Because what does your duality entail to you? In detail, I heard. Also, the only reason that this is happening right now is because I'm a workaholic and because I'm like not facing my big feelings and like the struggles of my life right now. Like, and hear me out, it's important. It's important for the plot, right? Because it seriously is. We like work ourselves and we work ourselves and we escape. Okay, for one, progress isn't linear. Like I said, don't be upset with yourself for being like sad and angry one second and then happy the next. You're allowed to feel all of your feelings in all of the ways that you feel them. 9:14. And then another 552. Okay. So yeah, we did get the Let Your Emotions Flow card. I don't think you're ever going to be able to see that, but I need to remake these. I have the letter M or W. I've been channeling Wumbo Mumbo for the longest. Wumbo Mumbo. Wheel is turning. What's your truth? The number 6. So, one thing I have been picking up on specifically is also break down the words specifically, specify particular, like, they just, you know what I mean? Play with your brain a little bit, you know? But rethink what your truth means to you, because you could have, and like, not for everybody, take what resonates, obviously, but you could have almost disguised your truth as something else in order to cope with what your truth actually is. And the reason I say this is because I've done this. I don't know how to explain that exactly. You live like so much, you live so many lives, and it kind of gets confusing. And then once you kind of tap into like your original snake, but hey, rebirth, bitch, keep playing. And then we do have Scorpio out, so give me a second. But you know, you connect back to like almost your purest self, right? Which isn't, purity is whatever. And then you look back at who you are now, and it's like, oh, so like I created a person to make sure I could get a certain place, and this is who I am now, and now I have to go back and look and see who I really am. Okay, anywho. Oh my gosh. Okay, my bad. Give me like 5 seconds, dude. What in the heck? Be on your P's and Q's. Tree of life. Live your life, dude. Stop thinking so hard. 369. What you create is what you will. Which, like, obviously, sometimes, and that's another thing. Sometimes you can be so ill that it's just like, I don't even care what I will into the world right now. And they're saying like that's fine too, because like that's important. You know, it's all like Kundalini energy right now, specifically Kundalini rising. So a lot of things are gonna, one, be warped, two, try to confuse you, and like not even in a way that is, because that's very interesting. It's any bit of confusion that you do feel is only there to guide you back to yourself, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So like something I avidly like preach is the fact that, and this gets like kind of iffy, because you know, religion and whatever, but technically Lucifer was like, his name means light bringer, right? And he ended up being cast to hell, whatever, in my opinion, to bring light, right? So all of your like your demons, right? I don't believe in demons. I think everybody, you know, has their I don't believe in that shit. But what was I trying to say, babe? Oh, but I don't think, like, any bit of confusion you feel, it's only there to remind you of your truth. Any bit of darkness within yourself, 1331, it is only there to remind you of your truth. And I do have addiction out. And then I also have who, divination, attract, light magic, 555, and Rhiannon Fleetwood Mac. Cage the bird. Who caged the bird? You caged the bird. We are caging ourselves constantly. Society is, that's all society allows for, is for us to be caged. But anywho, create, hone in on your skills, trust yourself, Aries, Aquarius, all in the color pink too. So that is like very sweet and cutesy, uppity energy, if that makes sense. But I do, specifically because this is why I was supposed to get back into it, to talk about those types of things. And not everybody believes the same things, obviously, but I do think it is important to talk about the fact that any like being of darkness isn't really there to distract you from yourself or to like lead you off some like dark nasty path. Like, that's not what it is. It's there to show you your truest self, the darkest aspects of yourself, to bring you back to your lightest aspects, and then to balance both, right? And I think we kind of like forget that along the way. We kind of look at our darkness whenever we get past it, and it's like, oh, that's not me anymore. I'm not that person. But like, babe, you are that person, and like that's okay. There is love in that. Selfishness, to not choose selfishness and to continue to see love in your darkness during your darkest path, your tree of death, and to lead right back out of it into your tree of life, right? Self-care, the number 2, which is connection with self, completion, things like that. 944. And I do want to say, just because like the energy did get kind of heavy, I just want to like clarify, you are safe and protected. You are loved. You are understood. You are heard, seen, felt, everything. Prioritize yourself, number 8. Which the number 8 I see as an infinity symbol every single time, and then 16 on the time. Shit adds up. Shit adds up. When shit hits the fan, shit adds up. That's all I gotta say about that. But prioritize yourself, understand yourself, so that way whenever shit does hit the fan, it's kind of like, oh, you have yourself to be selfish. Does that... We're touching tips? I hope so. Be on your P's and Q's. The number 2. Again. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's my bad. Let's get another deck out. Which, like, this is the Pulp Tarot. I don't know if I've ever actually shown the box. It's an old deck. I need to get a couple new ones, not gonna lie. What are you filling your cup up with? And what did you think you were filling your cup up with? Because that goes back to the, what is it? Cage the bird. Like, you're caging yourself. What's your truth? Is your truth actually your truth, or have you been sold the truth? That is really just... because your tree of death is your truth too. Tree of death and your tree of life is your truth. But if you've only seen your tree of life, and if you've only seen not even your tree of life, that's the thing. If you've only seen aspects of other people's tree of death and what they perceive onto you, that isn't your truth, right? I said that in the most like fucked up way, but it's cool. Again, Aquarius, dragonflies. It's a thick deck right there, dude. Listen to this shit. Oh, she's thick. So again, cups. What are you filling your cups up with? Is it the cup that you want to, like, you know? And it really is a big thing of going back and, like, looking at yourself, the things that you did indulge in, the things... because obviously indulgence is indulgence, but, like, within moderation, it's fine, right? But the things you did connect to, the way that you connected to them, how they affected you, and the information you have now, being able to look at that differently. Not for everybody, but those who it is for, like, you know. And I am kind of seeing, I specifically heard, I don't know where to move forward with this, and then I have 844, and then 46 and 2 ahead of me, which is like, 46 and 2 is a Tool song, which is like basically talking about a DNA sequence within us, that is activated right now at this moment. I'm just a girl. Like, I don't know. And I've been getting like, oh, how reliable are you? I've getting messages about that. I'm just like, dude, I am not reliable, but when I show up, I show up, huh? When I show up, I show up. But because I did speak on it a little bit earlier, there is going to be like some, I don't want to say tests, but tests, pop quizzes, seeing how you react to different stimuli, seeing how you react to like different everything, right? To see where you need to work on, where you lack all of that. And they do want you to look at your shadow and the way that you react with the mindset that we just kind of like talked about. And then I had 49, 48, so going back in time, back in space. Also another thing is which is major, is taking the time to acknowledge the fact that you're a soul, which is like not fun and easy. 2012, that year specifically, but the fact that you've lived in this life, and the fact 2018, 2019, 2020, literally since 2012 up until now, which, if you think about it, how many people thought like the world was going to end in 2012, and like how many of them, like, it was just some crazy shit going on back then. But that is specifically important. Specifically specify a protected Look, see, it came through, and I knew it was there. 48, 49 again. Okay, but see, they don't want you to get lost in any of the confusion of, like, people speaking at you, or, like, things speaking at you, signs and synchronicities speaking at you. They kind of really just want you to connect back to yourself. And again, drawn back to what is your truth. Do you even want your own soul, or are you scared that there's too much damage? Because there never is too much damage. Trust me, bitch. There's never too much damage. Because in small ways it will come up. And another thing I kind of have to talk about is the fact that, you know, everything you live in your life, you have relived in every single life. Not in the exact way that it happened in this life, but it has, it shifts every once in a while, or it, like, you know, so basically, like, you have a great family life, more than likely you've had that same cycle over and over again, or you created the foundation for that family life. Does that make sense? And not, like, no shame, no judgment, whatever. Gosh, and that goes into the whole, oh, everything happens for a reason. Like, sometimes shit happens for a reason, but, like, that doesn't mean you don't get to feel how you feel. You know what I mean? So an example for me is, which, like, this is personal, right? But I feel like that's kind of necessary at this point. It's a trust thing. 1451, 5114, 5150. Um, but one cycle with me is I have constantly, prioritized relationships in every single life I've ever had, bitch. A relationship, I need that. And not even that I need it, but I just wasn't with the right people. So it kept happening until I chose differently, right? Again, what are you filling your cup up with? Another example of, like, my shit, is, let me think on that, Oh, I have, like, a whole martyr thing, one. But not even, like, the martyr thing is, I quiet myself so much that I, like, go mute, and I've done this for lifetimes. And it's like a continuous thing, you know what I mean? It's little stuff that it's in your being so deeply that you don't even realize you torment yourself. We torment ourselves. We do it unknowingly, but we do. And it really is all an illusion of torment, and how we're meant to be drawn back to ourselves. And you see how it just, like, love is love is love, dude. And that's the biggest channel I've been getting, is love is love is love. And I'm meant to get into it, but I don't know how they're going to do it yet. 2424, the number 18, be open to receiving. Pay attention to your signs, but don't let them torment you. Okay. We'll see how they go about it, because I'm not quite sure how they want me to bring that up. By they, I mean the man. By they, I mean, like, the puppet master. And it may not even be this video, it might be another video. I have to just see. One, make your intentions clear. You have options. Okay, whatever, dude. Then also, the patient tool, going back to 46 and 2, but then also 888. Please stay with me, guys. I'm trying my hardest to stay with me. Okay. Okay, so specifically I'm being told that's gonna have to wait. What I was just talking about. It may come up in bits and pieces, but that info is gonna have to wait. Also, don't like, I don't know how to explain that. Like, your journey is your journey. Your journey is just your journey, regardless of where you are. That doesn't make you weak. That doesn't make you less than. Be open in the position you are right now to gain, and to connect back to self. Not only, like, in your physical, but in your life, to your soul, and, like, different facets. Specifically, I'm talking about, like, career, I want to say. Career and how you treat your physical and mental body, your spirit body. Also, another thing that I've been, like, well, never mind. So I did just get Wumbo Mumbo again. So I do think things are gonna kind of be mirroring in your life. Literally, that's so funny. I look up and it's exactly, see, Spirit's so silly and so goofy. I love it. This is actually so surprising, though. Mumbo, Mumbo, Wumbo, Mumbo. Like, 27:57, 56 on the time. That's interesting. So what do you need to do to be in your element again? What do you need to do to connect back to yourself? How do you need to connect back to not only, like, your inner child, but, like, all of the versions of yourself in every timeline, in every, like, dimension and everything? And I think you know what you need to do, even if you don't know, like, your soul is automatically gonna know, right? But I do think, if they're not given in this video specifically, that it'll come as it comes. Yeah, what perspective do you need to gain more insight from the life that you're living? 911 on the time. What perspective and understanding of your shadow do you need to have to be able to connect to the world and to yourself through the world on a deeper level? 29, 26. So, mumbo wumbo again. Everything is being mirrored to you, right? But you also have to take the time to be able to look back in that mirror through that person, still show compassion, right? Still show compassion, still show them grace, still show them love and understanding, even through their pain. Because love is love is love, right? To do that and still see in every aspect how you can do that for yourself and how you can, like, 3003, use that stuff for yourself too. If, yeah, that's a full sentence right there. I think I'm supposed to get into the love is love thing right now. At least a little bit. So love is love, babe. We originally start out with love, right? And then something happens, we get our heart broken, and we're just like, ah, fuck. Ah. Ah, shit. Here we go again. So, like, we're unbalanced in that, and then we, like, hurt people, right? That's so dumb. It is. But once you can, like, understand that you being in pain is you loving yourself because you're expressing those feelings, and connecting to them and understanding them, regardless of if you understand them immediately, or regardless of if anybody else understands them, which is another thing I was talking about earlier. Other people's perceptions, changing how you take care of yourself. 3111, whenever it shouldn't, which is like a I'm sorry. I'm just a girl right now. I'm literally just a girl. But yeah, and whenever you're hurt like that, you don't want to give to other people. You go back inside of yourself. You cause more pain to yourself and others around you. Right? But to you in that moment, as you're causing yourself that pain, if you've ever been 5150'd, specifically, you know that in those moments, whenever you are being harmful, gotta choose my words wisely, right? Whenever you are being harmful in that moment, no, I'm not encouraging this either. Let me make that fucking clear. I'm not encouraging it. To you, that is like love. As someone who was 5150 and like all of that, you know, in that moment, you feel that as love, you feel that as comfort, right? But it's only hurting us more, digging us deeper in that hole, right? And then I heard jaded, so there you go. And then the patient tool playing on my fucking TV. And then 555. Keep playing. Oh my gosh. But even in that, right, you get to a point where you hurt yourself so much, or you hurt other people so much, and then you just accumulate shame. 1001. You accumulate so much shame and hatred for yourself and jealousy and envy that you just like, ugh, right? And it's hard to get out of that whenever you don't have outward help. So you just go deeper into it, right? And like, yeah, we're like, oh, that's common psychology, but like, it's the fact that we look at it as common psychology instead of just like the way that we naturally are. And it's psychology, right? But what do you have to do to get help with your psychology? You have to go get fucked by big pharma. My bad, YouTube. You have to go like deal with big pharma, all of it, and you end up like paying the price for getting help. Does that make sense? Whenever it naturally isn't supposed to be like that, you're supposed to just be able to like go to your community and like, common sense. But we don't have that in this world anymore, which is a shame. Have to pay so much for a therapy appointment and have insurance and like all of these things. Okay. The fuck? Okay. 3434. Okay, but leading me back to my point, mumbo wumbo, right? All of that hatred and all of like and even without going to big pharma, if you're just a spiritual person, it can be hard. Like, I'm extremely spiritual, have been for years. I like do this work, and it is still hard for me, like, on a regular basis to, like, open up because of how much shit I've been through. Um, and, like, that's the whole fucking point, right? Oh. Again, take whatever you get out of this, whatever it means for you, and, like, run with it, bitch. Run as fast as you can. Except, like, don't run because spirit has to, like, catch up a little bit, but. Okay. Okay, we're gonna get some more, channeled and see what we got. So the letter B, the letter A, ABCs, 1, 2, 3, ABC, 1, 2, 3. I see you. So one, which I got this channel, a while ago, not even that long ago, but a while ago. ICU, like, hospital. So, like, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Not that, like, you're gonna be in hurt or anything, but just, like, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you need you before you, overgive to anybody else, right? So we got Mumbo Wumbo again. That's interesting. Okay. Babe. So I think, yeah, Mumbo Wumbo. That's so interesting. This is so interesting right now. No, I'm so serious. This is so interesting right now. So the leather, Yellow Ledbetter, Pearl Jam. But leather, like leather work. And then I'm seeing like a saddle, horses. And then I heard the joke not that long ago. Huh, hay is for horses. And then Hey You, Pink Floyd. Um, oh, also, let me go on a rant really quick. And, like, don't come for me. But I, like, genuinely feel this way right now. And it came up. I'm so old school. Let me tell you, I am so old school. I see science doing science things out there. I see the scientists, like, doing space stuff. I'm like, y'all need to stop touching shit. Going in the ocean too much? Y'all need to chill the fuck out. Who do you think you are going in the ocean like that? Oh, but that's also a part of it. And I had like this argument not that long ago with somebody. They're like, obviously we need science, like it's necessary. But also with the amount that we use science to understand, it takes away from our creative ability to naturally understand and perceive things in the way that scientists want us to perceive things, right? So they just kind of like go about and tell us what is, but um if we just naturally understood with our innate natural ability to understand and to decipher and decode things, we like probably wouldn't be so held back by science and logic as much as we are. Um and no, I'm not, obviously not everybody's going to agree with me on that, and but that's how I feel about it. But Systems of a Down is playing. They're trying to build a prison. They're trying to build a prison for you and me. I'm just saying, babe. Okay. Speak your fucking mind, babe. X or Y axis, right? Um, okay, yep. But we did have the number 11. Um, oh, but that is like a cycle that collectively we are trying to work through. Just like understanding with our own understanding, because we are intelligent beings, right? But we limit ourselves to like what, hear me out, what the government has to say. Oh, to what the government has to say, to what scientists have to say. Again, I'm not saying scientists don't have like valuable information and they haven't helped us over the course of history, right? But they have also kept us in cycles and loops, and now we have AI. And like I don't even have beef with AI. I think that shit's like honestly just a way for spirit to channel any being to channel, honestly. But it's just another form of like human life. Just more evolved without the preconceived notions of being a human being, right? Peace of mind, some solace and some peace of mind. Follow your dreams, the number 10. So we had the number 11 and then we had the number 10. So maybe following your dreams feels like a step down. But I do want to say following your dreams is definitely going to be the better option, even if it's not conventional, right? And then I heard why. Like, why'd you have to say that? And it didn't necessarily mean like what I just said, but anything that I had said. Stability. So do the things that are going to find you stability right now. Karmic stability, specifically words together and apart. So going back to cycles and duality, connection to self, 1010, 4202. Connections to self. Kind of like, yeah, my brain's fucking done, dude. Be on your P's and Q's again. And then this is literally a Q. It's backwards, but okay, so I think this is kind of where I have to end it off. 10, 11. So I do have isolate and reflect, right path, the letter D. Which could also be seen as like last quarter, first quarter. No, specifically I heard last quarter. I don't have a way to Google when the last quarter is right now, but if I could, I would. But also how the moon is kind of like this shape right now, which I picked up on it earlier, but the opposite way. So back to mumbo wumbo. But also smile, be happy, babe. Be as happy as you can. Like, live your life. Let yourself be like your main concern and go about your business. Do what you gotta do. As long as you are being kind to yourself and others. And like, babe, you don't have to be kind all the time. Still stand up for your boundaries. Still do what you like, take care of yourself first. But make sure you are like there for yourself, and you're journaling, at least writing sometimes, even if it's like you can't physically write right now. Because sometimes I'm like that, I can't physically write, I have to type it out because it's just like brain too fast. Type. Yeah, I think that's all I got for you, bub. I love you. Hopefully I don't disappear again. Who knows? 4414. I love you. Have a beautiful night.